10:29? Will you give me a go at 10:30 when we start the stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, 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 hello. I'm Heather Granado. I'm the Vice President of Partnerships and Sustainability with Informa Markets in EMEA, and I am delighted we are back with Vitafoods Asia, back in person in the APAC region with our first time here in Bangkok. And we are live streaming, so anyone who is online, welcome to Vitafoods Asia. We're bringing our nutraceutical community together, and we're so excited to be able to do that with our colleagues at FI Asia. We are also excited to announce that starting in 2023, we are further extending our reach into India. So if we have anyone who's interested in Vitafoods India, which will be kicking off in February 2023, you can ask our colleagues in the rebooking center for further information, and watch for more on that. We'll have 3 days of insights from our Vitafoods Asia main stage, powered by Vitafoods Insights. And you can ask questions either here in person or via the platform, and I'll be keeping an eye out. Our first speaker, I'm delighted, is Nicole Jansen, Team Manager of Insights and Innovation at Innova Market Insights. For those of you who are here in person who might like her presentation, find me at the back of the room and drop off a business card, and I'll be making sure that that gets to Innova. But we'll be talking about health and wellness trends, reductionism, naturalism, and functionalism. And honestly, you came here to listen to Nicole and not me, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Heather. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Very happy to be here as well. My name is Nicole, and as Heather already introduced, I'm I'm leading the Insights and Innovation team at Innova Market Insights. And today I want to speak with you about health and wellness trends and what is going on, especially in the APAC region. So let me first introduce Innova a little bit so we're all on the same page. And basically, Innova is a global market research company. And what we do is that we try to give our clients a 360 view of the market. So at our heart, we really track new product launches across the globe, which means that we go in the supermarkets in more than 90 countries and in many countries in Southeast Asia as well, in order to buy the products that are in retail and then get all of the information that we can find on product. And based on that, then we can really understand what are the trends, right? So we can see how products are positioned in the market, how products, let's say, what are new market opportunities, ingredients we're really specific in, so you can really get the full scope of product insights. And next to that, we also do our own consumer research, also globally. I think really we're global, but then also very local because we are in all of the specific countries. So also, if you need further information about that, I'm very happy to help you afterwards. So today, let me see if this works. If we could go to the next slide. Oh, that was one too much. If I was just saying that we're really giving this 360 view at the market, right? So we really try to start very broad, also looking at mega trends, and then with the consumer insights that we have in combination also with the food and beverage trends, we come to the conclusions, for instance, as I'm going to show you today in this deck. And one topic I really want to start off with is health and happiness. Today's topic is about health and well-being, right? And to be honest, health has become one of my favorite topics to talk about because I find it has evolved to something that is so much more than just physical health, right? It's not only about like that we're moving, that we're active, but it's also nowadays about happiness. Like we know that we're feeling better when we're happy, right? So it's also about buying certain products that will make us feel good, for instance. So for instance, are you going to purchase a meat alternative versus conventional meat? Do you look at organic or do you just buy conventional, for instance? So there's lots of purchase decisions that can also, for instance, impact our happiness, as well as also what we do in our free time. Do we go out? Do we meditate? Do we have a walk in the park? Like all of this nowadays I find is part of health. Same as, of course, also mental health and also, of course, physical health. But it's a really fun topic, I think, because there's so much to it. And that we will explore a little bit today. Health, of course, like cost is usually one of the key purchase drivers. And especially now that we're dealing with inflation, with supply chain issues. There's a lot going on globally at the moment and geopolitically, for instance, but still health is major. It's like a major purchase decision maker for consumers. And again, when we ask what means, for instance, healthier living to you, we ask our consumers that, they say that it means eating a healthy and nutritious diet. Especially in APAC, we can see that health aspects are very, very important. So overall, in general, 1/3 of all consumers pay attention to that as a purchase decision maker. But of course, cost is key. Same as also brand, for instance, still plays a role. But we can just see, and to kick off today, health is really important. All right, so if we look into what are the drivers for health and well-being, we have three key topics for today, as Heather also already introduced. It's about reductionism, so really consumers looking for reducing the bad things, and also how the industry responds to that, right? By using ingredients that are less bad or reducing the baddies in the product. Naturalism is the second big one, so that's really about having products that include natural ingredients, and also how are those positioned in the market. And finally, also functionalism. So I would say this is a little bit like a standalone, because here it's also about all of the functional ingredients that can be added to products. And we'll have a look at what consumers think about that, and also what products are already out there. All right, so this is basically the whole spectrum of the different health strategies. We have asked consumers how they would actually categorize their predominant approach to healthy eating. And reductionism is something that 22% of consumers are trying to do. So they try to limit their, let's say, the products or ingredients that are bad for them. 28% are choosing natural, and I think that's also one of the bigger numbers, simply because that's something consumers are very used to do, like looking for natural, but we'll look in a second also what natural actually means. And then finally, 28% of consumers also actively look to boost their nutrition. So they really look for products that have ingredients included that can boost their diet. Here, I know there's quite a lot to see on this slide, but I'm going to explain it. So what we can see here is also, again, the different types, so reductionism, naturalism, and functionalism, and how this is translated to different claims that we can see on product launches in APAC in the past 12 months. So you can see we have the mainstream box, and here you can see, for instance, high source of protein and also high source of fiber. They're really more in the functionalism, let's say, side, because it's really something that was added to the product. That's rather mainstream. Natural claims, organic, no additives and preservatives, that's quite big when we look at naturalism. And then if we look at reductionism, for instance, gluten-free, so something is taken out, or sugar reduction. Sugar reduction, of course, is really big as well. This is all mainstream. What is even more interesting is to look at the watch list, and there we see prebiotics and probiotics, which really falls into functionalism. And this is also the topic that I think is quite interesting, also in regard to the show that we are here today. And we'll have a look into that in a second as well. But let's first go step by step, first into reductionism, and really how consumers are avoiding the bad stuff and what the industry is doing at the moment to cater to the consumers' needs. What we can see is that that consumers, or what is most important for consumers, is actually that low in ingredients, they're actually considered very unhealthy. So all of the carbs, for instance, gluten, for instance, also sugar, like all of this is considered a bad ingredient. So 1 in 5 consumers in Asia see that. And that's why we see a lot of new product launches where you can see low in carb, gluten-free. And then on the other side, you have the good things, right? Naturally sweetened, that's very positive. Great source of fiber. So again, this is something that is like very positive for the consumers. No nasties even, it shows on this product example, which I think is also a really nice way of communicating to the consumer. Okay, there's nothing bad in here, you can go for this product. So I think that's a really nice example. And then on top, you can see in the bottom, it also says, bake low carb, feel your best. So again, it makes this connection to how the consumer feels, like feeling better when baking with low carb products. So this is a really nice example of reductionism. So here, what you can see on the slide is what consumers have increased or decreased their intake of. So you see the top ones are sugar, sodium, salt, and also fat. And you can really see a lot of consumers have decreased their consumption of those baddies, or like the negative ingredients. So you can see there's also calories, carbohydrates, they're a little bit less. And then also interesting is, on the right-hand side, protein and fiber, here consumers have really increased their consumption, right? So on one hand, we have really decreased the baddies, and then we have increased the good ingredients, which also fits into functionalism. Also, if we look at the new product launches in APAC, we can see that 1 in 5 launches, or actually nearly 1 in 5 launches, they focus on reduction claims. So here we have various examples. If we look, for instance, at sugar reduction, we can see a very strong growth rate of 17% of new products, so of growth of new products that are launched with a sugar reduction claim. And we have been observing this trend already since some time at Innova, but you can really see it remains big, right? Like sugar reduction is like across the globe, actually, not just in APAC, of course, but it's really across the globe, one of the key topics when it comes to health. Less salt as well, or less sodium, so salt reduction in general is like one of the key topics. 12% growth rate of new product launches in APAC that have a low sodium, no sodium, or reduced sodium claim. And then finally, also fat reduction is quite big. So there's a 16% growth rate of new product launches in APAC that have a fat reduction claim. And I would say those are really like the key ones when it comes to reducing in the bad ingredients, or at least also what's perceived by consumers as bad. Let's have a look at naturalism. And I think this slide actually, I only have one slide on naturalism, but I think it's really like, it really shows the concept quite well. Because if we, if we have a look at those consumer insights, we can see that 3 in 5 consumers in Asia actually say that clean label has fair to great deal of influence on their buying decisions. So it's really a key purchase driver for consumers, clean label. And if we look at the claims that are included in clean label, I would say that's the natural claim, that's no additives and preservatives, and also GMO-free, for instance. So all of them still have quite a good or at least stable growth rate when it comes to new product launches in APAC. I think what's important to understand about natural is that it really has been evolving, or like the whole clean label trend has been evolving. Because in the beginning, I think we were really talking about the 4 key claims, like natural, no additives and preservatives, and organic, and that kind of comprised clean label. But over the years, consumers have a greater demand also to other aspects when it comes to natural and clean label. So we can see that, for instance, minimal processing or short ingredient lists, like all of those are aspects that consumers want to see more in natural products or in clean label products. Real and nutritious, for instance, so really real and recognizable ingredients, so that consumers really understand. We once did a survey a couple of years ago on ingredients, and it really showed that no matter if the ingredient is natural or not, the best for consumers is if it's easy to understand, because you know as well that there are some natural ingredients that sound quite challenging, and consumers still get the impression it's something bad for them just because they don't understand it. So clear communication, like really understanding what's in the product, that is what is really valued. And then of course transparency is also part of clean label, like how was the product produced, why are certain ingredients in there that are included, what is the story of the company. And I think all of that now plays a really big role in natural, in authenticity, and making this connection also to get the consumer's trust, basically. So I would say this is really like the evolution from very basic clean label to the whole holistic concept of clean label that is what it is today. So also on the natural side, we can see here what does the term clean eating mean for the consumer. Free of additives and preservatives, natural ingredients, and also without artificial ingredients and organic. And you can see that it's a little bit different in Asia to global. So some of them are like even more important to Asian consumers than the global average. And we can still see quite a few interesting product launches that look into that. So for instance, if you see the product launched in Vietnam, 100% natural goodness. So that is kind of general, but you will see if you remember what I just told you about transparency, right below it indicates no animal products, no preservatives, no artificial colors, and no sulfites. So again, they really try to make clear to the consumer with real names with easy to understand names, what it actually means 100% natural, because the consumer might ask, okay, natural, what does it actually mean? So also consumers, so here we have the split by a few countries where we did the survey about consumers looking at the ingredient list when they buy products, and you can see especially in India that's quite high on the agenda. But I would say actually overall in APAC, also China, also Indonesia, a lot of consumers really look at what is in the product. And you can see that consumers are even willing to pay the extra for products that have a natural and a clean label. So let's finally go into functionalism, the third topic for today. And we'll have a look at ingredients that are added to the products to boost nutrition, for instance. So we can see that consumers, they are really inclined towards products that have functional claims. And we have here a list of the different claims that, that consumers look for, the different functions that consumers look for in Asia. So boosting immunity is really the top one. And it's not really a surprise because we are just, I would almost say, after the pandemic. We are still kind of in it, but we're hopefully getting to an end. But of course, through the pandemic, that topic was really pushed, right? And right after, we could also see such a strong increase of new product launches that had an immune claim. Also in line with that is the second one, which is improving digestive and gut health. So consumers have this better understanding. Remember before I was talking about transparency, understanding more, and consumers understand that gut health is strongly related to immune health. But next to that, also very specific health aspects consumers are looking for, such as improving heart health, detoxifying, cleansing the body, or improving sleep. And sleep, I think, also is something that directly resulted from the pandemic because consumers understand more, okay, I need to sleep well in order to not get sick, I need to drink enough. You know, hydration was also high on the agenda, but not among those top 5. So there's a few things that resulted out of that. And that's why also I think health is going to stay on top on the agenda. If we have a look at this slide also, you can see by the different health claims what is really already established in product launches in Asia. But I think, again, what is really interesting is that probiotics are on the watch list. So this is still something that is growing and growing, and it has been growing over the past years, right? The other things like added protein, brain health, digestive gut health, they are also quite big, but then probiotics are really on very highly growing still. And you can see that also still in new product launches that connect probiotic together with, for instance, immune health claims. And this brings me to gut health also. I think that's one of the important topics we need to talk about, also because the trend has been evolving over the past years, right? Like when we first started, actually, when we founded the company, Nova Market Insights, we started tracking ingredients that are also functional in terms of gut health. But at that time, it really only meant having a healthy gut, right? But nowadays, it's really related to holistic well-being, again, because consumers also understand much more what impact a healthy gut can have on their overall health. So you have, what we can see is that there's a lot of new product launches that then have, for instance, gut health ingredients, but are focused on immune health, energy levels, better sleeping, and even mood health. And there we come again to what health means today, right? It's really holistic, and there's different aspects that are related to gut health, for instance, or to gut health-related ingredients such as probiotics, prebiotics, and even postbiotics, which are upcoming. So let's have a look at what's going to happen next. And what I really think is that health is going to remain super high on the agenda of consumers. For the same reasons that are already mentioned, it just means much more than it meant even before the pandemic. Health is comprised of having a healthy body, having a healthy mind, and even the spirit, right? Like what I talked in the beginning, like do you go in the park and wind down, like what impact is that going to have on your health, right? So it's going to stay really important for consumers to be healthy. And so I think also we can expect a lot of product launches that tap into the different areas, right? Physical health, mindful health, like think about ingredients that boost mood, for instance, or help to energize or focus better. I think this is also what we're going to see a lot. And then also I think what we haven't talked a lot today yet is also plant-based. And I think there also we can see a lot more in that space. So we see a high growth on plant-based. And I've talked with a few, let's say, of our customers also in Asia, and they have been telling me, okay, it's still not there where it should be, but still we see a very strong growth. And it's also going to be part of our trends for next year, just because we still see this very strong growth. And it's it's diversifying, right? It's not just the product launches itself, and health is still also a key driver of plant-based products, but we see it also in let's say in food service, we see it in all types of different categories, we see it in premium products and basic products, and I really think in the future that's going to be a standalone segment, but also of course consumers are going to purchase it because of health. And then of course health and indulgence is like one of the topics, like consumers on one hand, they want to feel comfortable. Like we also know it, taste is king, right? Texture is important. What we eat should also taste good. So where are we? Like if we want to follow a healthy diet, but at the same time also want to indulge ourselves, especially in times of crisis, right? So we were in the pandemic, now we're kind of almost in the next crisis. So we're jumping from crisis to crisis, but so we need to like pay attention to our health on one hand, but then also we want to indulge. So here I think that what we can see is that consumers globally say that when they want to have a treat, they actually make sure to choose the healthier alternative. And we can see that there's a lot of new product launches also in health, in more indulging categories, I would say, that also have claims related to, for instance, any type of health claim that we have seen today, like immunity. Here we have an example with the cookies that also support gastrointestinal health, for instance. So that is something that we can see. And then, of course, also making products high in protein, high in fiber, guilt-free indulgent snacks. Like I think that is something that we'll be seeing also when it comes to health and wellness. And yeah, I think overall we can say when it comes to health that yeah, we will keep seeing a lot of on product launches that have reduced the ingredients that are not so good or perceived as bad also by the consumer. We'll still see a lot of naturalism, but keep in mind natural is not what it is before, but it's important to be transparent about natural and actually mentioning what exactly natural means, really define it. And then finally, functionalism, also very high on the agenda with added immune health claims, etc., like having functional ingredients added to the products to make it, to give the consumer the extra nutrition. And I would say those are the key takeaways, and that brought me to the end of the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Not sure if we have time for questions, but otherwise I'm also available at the end. And maybe one last comment. If you're interested in the slides, Heather mentioned it in the beginning, but some of you weren't there yet. If you leave your business card, I'll make sure you get a copy of the slides. So thanks a lot for joining.
Thank you so much, Nicole. As always, just a wonderful presentation. And you're also in the innovation zone, is that correct? You've got the
yes.
Innova area.
Absolutely.
So certainly if you have additional questions for Nicole, I invite you to stop by and ask those questions in the innovation zone. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
I've got the handy box, so if you'd like the presentation, please do drop off your card. And we'll stop top of the